Okay, Indy the Panda did a super chat saying, I'm a rich fan and he's not trying to make money off of you. He's not. Then what about the entire segment? And by the way, the only reason I know about this segment is because when I saw the Mr. Matoker response video and I watched it, immediately YouTube flooded my feed with a bunch of negative videos about me. Because that's what YouTube does. It's so fucking stupid. You watch one video and immediately you get monstrously bombarded with negative shit. Okay? So I watched the Metokur response and immediately there's a giant segment video of Rich insulting me on his show the other day, completely misrepresenting something that happened on my podcast the other day. Okay? So, just to give you some perspective about the kind of people that they are, and Rich in particular. So the other day, Snow Carl asked me a genuinely honest question. He says, well, actually what happened was I'm remembering even better. I don't think it was Snow Carl in particular. Someone had tipped me like under $1, all right? And I very matter-of-factly and tried to, as logically as possible, explain to all of you why I can't just shout out micro transactions like that. And the reason is because years ago, when I started being a full-time streamer in 2017, I just allowed anyone to contribute anything they wanted, and I said I would shout it all out. Within one day of me doing that, we had people coming on this stream doing 5-cent and 10-cent cheers and saying dumb shit, insulting shit, just spamming the feed constantly. So the pop-ups would keep coming up, so that, you know what I'm saying? That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to disrupt the stream. So at that time, I publicly spoke with my audience. We had a public conversation on stream about it, and we came to the consensus that $1 was exactly what it should be for getting a shout out on my streams. That anything lower than $1 is likely someone just trying to troll. It's not like, oh, I desperately want to contribute to Phil, but I can't give $1. You know what I'm saying? It was people trolling. So we came to that consensus over 5 years ago, together on the streams. It makes sense. We don't want the streams to be derailed by constant pop-ups of trolls trying to do 1 cent, 5 cent, 10-cent transactions. It's dumb. So that was the purpose. When someone tipped a lower amount the other day, I wanted to let everyone know. I wanted to reiterate. This is the policy. This is why we do it. You know, that's it. Thanks. Any contributions are appreciated, but I can't just shout out tiny contributions. We'll be here all day. We'll never even get to gameplay. It'll just be me shouting this out constantly. Okay? Does that sound like a logical explanation? Right? It makes sense. That's what we agreed 5.5 years ago together. And really, it hasn't been reassessed since then. What we have done is we've looked at the different tier levels, right? Where you can get a pop-up or a shout-out or whatever. Like, now we've got it $4.20, $5, $10, $20. We have these different tier levels for rewards. But makes sense, right? Okay. So how does Rich report it? DSP only wants $100 tips. I'm serious. That's what his fucking thumbnail said. DSP only wants $100 tips because Phil only wants big contributions. He's not appreciative of small contributions that come in. He refuses to shout out small contributions on his stream. He's basically a greedy scumbag. That's what he said. What the fuck? When did that even come into play? When was that anything that we talked about? Right? This was a situation that we agreed on 5.5 years ago, that if we allowed people to just keep spamming little contributions, it would completely destroy and derail the streaming that I do. We collectively agreed, and this has worked for 5 years, right? People like that I'm not just constantly, oh, here's a 10-cent contribution, shout out, another one, shout out, another one, shout out. We'll never play a game, So, again, this is the kind of people that they are, is they misrepresent me. They make shit up. There was never a situation where I said, I refuse to do any kind of a shout out for a small contribution. I'm not, oh, that's being ungrateful. No, it's called operating a stream, putting out entertaining content that keeps moving and has progress and isn't completely derailed by people intentionally trying to derail it. You know what I'm saying? That would also be like saying Phil forces sub-only mode on his streams because he's trying to artificially inflate the subscribers on his channel. No. Absolutely not. The reason we have sub-only mode on the stream is because if I didn't have it, you'd have constant bot accounts coming in here spamming troll shit. We had that for about 1 month when I became a full-time streamer here on YouTube last year. The streams were atrociously bad with people coming in and trolling like crazy. We collectively agreed sub-only mode was the way to fix it, and people have said, wow, is your chat so much better You have control over it now, right? We can actually have meaningful conversations and not just trolls constantly spamming hateful shit. But you could spin it and say, oh, it's because I'm trying to inflate my subs. That's essentially what Rich does. All right? He's a shit stirrer. He's doing it. So how can you, literally, Indy the Panda, how can you say to me in the super chat, I'm a Rich fan, he's not trying to make money out of you, when he literally does entire segments on his fucking show that completely misrepresent me and the things I say on purpose for have drama to talk about for personal gain? Are you telling me that that segment on his show did not benefit him? Are you out of your mind? Of course it did. It gave him content. He thinks that's content, you know? He's that dumb. He actually thinks, and again, anyone who's in an audience, and that, why would you entertain that? If you are actively in Rich's audience, and you know that he's frequently manufacturing drama for you, why would you continue to watch? Unless you're dumb or gullible, right? You should demand better from the people who you watch and follow. You shouldn't have those people fabricate shit so that you can get a drama segment on a show. Like, fuck that guy. Man, you know, why would you want to watch his shit ever again? He's literally wasting your time. He made shit up to try to have something to talk about because it was a slow day for him and he had no effort into finding real news or anything. He just wants to fucking slander people because it's easy, you know? Those are the kind of people you got to cut out of your life. Really. You don't need those kind of people in your life. There's enough drama going on in all of our real lives. There's enough shit going on. You don't need to have manufactured shit, you know? How is that different from Keemstar completely fabricating and spinning a situation with a Minecraft YouTuber? He knew the Minecraft YouTuber was not guilty of pedophilia. He had the evidence for months. He withheld the evidence until he could get that YouTuber on his show for personal gain, and then he said he was innocent on the show after pulling this out for 2 months of content, right? It's exactly the same thing. It's talk in a way that's completely half-truths to slander someone so that you can have a segment for your show. Sorry, I'm never going to do that. Really, I'm never going to do that. That's fucked up. No, Indy the Panda, he's misrepresenting what I said. He did not, word for word, go through the conversation. Because if he did, then you would say, oh, here is the, here is the situation. Phil says this, and here's why. Because in 2017, he was streaming, and his streams were destroyed by small contributions, so he came to a collective agreement with his audience. He said none of that. It's not an accurate representation. He spins it the way he wants. And that's just, it's fucked up, okay?